thanks to your hard work, President Obama and the U.S. Congress, you are now no longer a pre-existing condition. Our precious seniors will now get a $250 rebate to close that treacherous donut hole that affects them, that causes them to break up their medicine or take bus trips to Mexico or Canada to get counterfeit drugs because they can't afford it. Right now, those of us who have adult children in college or who are just adult and need a little extra help can be covered under their parents' insurance plan immediately. Small businesses, over 15,000 small businesses, Dr. Mays, will benefit because of this legislation right here in Indianapolis. And by 2020, we want to close the donut hole completely. That's what we're dealing with. Now, during this debate, it wasn't easy. It was rough. There were people in the president's own party who weren't happy about the proposal. And we saw fringe elements of this experiment that we call America fringe groups express the kind of rhetoric and hate that doesn't belong in our political debate. Some of you are aware of an incident that happened with myself and Congressman John Lewis, the great civil rights leader. And I can tell you right now, on the eve of that historic legislation, when they ring a bell and you have 15 minutes when the first bell is called, and there's a series of votes after that. And my staff was getting on me because I was on a telephone call talking to a constituent. And they told me I had 2 minutes left. So I ran to the elevator. It was slow because other members were trying to get there. I go downstairs, I hit the elevator again, I get on, I hear somebody say, wait. I'm like, who in the world is this? Who is this telling me to wait? It was Congressman John Lewis. He gets on the elevator and says, hey, Brother Carson, what's going on? I said, you got it. He said, you ready to vote? You ready to do it? I said, let's do it. And so we get off, and this chief of staff meets us. And we usually take the tunnel, but first day of spring, so why not go outside, enjoy the weather? And we see a crowd of people, Tea Party people, and they're chanting, kill the bill, kill the bill. And jokingly in my mind, I said, I'm surprised they hadn't said anything. And before I could finish the thought, that's when I heard the N-word. I had to check to make sure I wasn't listening to NWA, E40, a little wheezy or something. Okay, we're sophisticated tonight. But it was real, and it was serious, and it was intense. And I looked over to Brother Lewis, and he said, you know, son, this reminds me of another time in my life. And as we walked through that crowd with the wise sage, the chants got deeper. And we cast our vote, and we came back, and when we came back from the vote, there were more CBC members with us because we went to go hear the president speak. But throughout all of that, the right-wing movement had an attempt to minimize our concerns. They called us liars. They even had footage on YouTube trying to refute our claim. But the footage that was shown on the internet wasn't the footage from the original incident. That kind of hate-filled rhetoric, and in many ways I think is a veiled attempt to justify the simply unjustifiable, to minimize the hurt, pain of the civil rights movement. And my own chairman of the Financial Services Committee, who is an openly gay member of Congress, they called him the F word. That kind of hate doesn't belong in our political debate. So why are these Tea Party people so outraged? Why are they so upset? Have they raised legitimate questions about our budget, our deficit and spending? Absolutely. Have they raised serious concerns about the lack of transparency in government? Absolutely. Have they raised serious concerns about auditing the Fed? Absolutely. But when you get outside of that, there's an undercurrent of bigotry There's an undercurrent of hate. There's an undercurrent of a language that is disappointing that we have our first black president. I hope that we don't leave this event tonight empty. I hope that we leave this event charged up and fired up and ready to engage in the political process. When we leave here, I bring that situation up to raise a point. When we leave here, we should be more encouraged to engage in the political process. That doesn't necessarily mean running for office. If you want to run for office, you should do it. That means joining the NAACP. That means joining the Urban League. That means joining an organization or a community organization that's doing good things in the community. That means registering to become a voter. That means registering voters. That means voicing your concerns not just after the election, but before the election. It wasn't enough for me to get in public office and get a pen and say I'm a member of Congress. It meant that much more to me that I had a constituency that was willing to hold me accountable and hold our office accountable. Whatever God has intended for you to do, I believe that you should follow your passion to the fullest. There's nothing more disappointing than to see someone who is living a life without purpose. I can remember a sister I grew up with who was always a visionary. In fact, she used to motivate me. And she's a beautiful model. My wife's here. I don't know that my wife got it. But she always talked about being a CEO and entrepreneur. And she's living that dream today. Despite the circumstances, she's overcome obstacles. And she's a CEO today, and she has her own company. That's Sister Officer. Stand up, Sister. I'm best. Just stand up. That's my old sister. My wife says she and my wife still has that Ethiopian beauty, but that's all right. But there are so many young people who don't have mentors. There are so many young people who don't have the family structure to help them succeed. Julia Carson had her steps ordered by God, yes, but it took an Andy Jacobs to push her further down the line. Barack Obama just didn't pop out of the sky. He had people to help them. Bill Mays, as great as he is, we love him. He's our Bill Gates. He had people to help him. He'll tell you that. Whether Stewart and others. And so we have to go back to the village concept. The African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child, and connect with our young people. Before I leave here, I want to connect with the young people here. I want to make sure that our office has internships available for young people wanting to go to college and wanting to take them to the next level. We have to get back. How many of you tonight are willing to make a commitment to get back to your community? All right. I want us to be politically engaged. I'm 35 years old. I'll be 36 in October. And I don't want to stop there. I want to see more political leaders. I see a brother back there. I see a spark in him. Met a sister earlier today. I saw a spark in her. But we want to nurture that spark. Make it a fire. Make it a volcano so they can be world changers. Thank you, and God bless. Let's open up the Q&A. Please sit down.